Hey, it's Savvy Skills here. Today I am going to be installing this Cadet baseboard heater here, going into this plug. Tools you need: stud finder, screwdriver, wire nuts, voltmeter, plug, drill, and a cord that is able to withstand 250 volts, 240 volts. This is a 240 volt heater, baseboard heater from Cadet. The thermostat switch is in that box. And we will be installing this heater by this window. The client wants the heater plugged into that outlet, that 240, 250 volt outlet. So today we'll be installing that. So on this Cadet heater, you can wire it both sides, the left side or the right side, depending on where your outlet is. Since my outlet is on the right and the heater is going to the left, I am going to install it on this side. So what we first have to do is unscrew this screw here. And you will expose the wires for the right side. The left side is similar. Let me show you that side just to be sure you know. So the left side has an extra set of wires on it. So when you do this, do not cut this one. You want to use this wire here. The ground would go here, but since we're not using the ground, we have to put it over on this side. So I am going to replace this since we are not going to be using this. So obviously, before you have to do this, you have to find the studs. That's pretty self-explanatory. Since we know that there is going to be a stud at this corner, so we could just go from here, measure over 16 inches, but this house is built 1900s. So we're just going to do the old-fashioned way with a stud finder. Mark out the studs, and we go from there. So I laid out the studs on the baseboard trim. You cannot see it, but trust me, they're there. Don't want to mark up the walls. I can come back by with a eraser and just erase those marks off the trim. And we want to make sure that we move it further enough away from curtains that are hanging. So we want to try to position it, if the curtains are open, put it here over to best position, the risk of any fire hazards or so on and so forth. Again, this is what the client wants. She wants it here so that it's not interfering with the curtains. So before I get started, I went ahead and installed this 90-degree cable clamp to protect the wire coming in there from the sharp edges from the little grommet right there. These pop out. But I wanted it to look more clean, so I came off the bottom, and it's going to go straight over to that outlet from about right here. So the heater is installed. Wire is pretty much ran to where it needs to be. All right, so when you get the wires cut back, it should look something like this. You have your hot, neutral, ground, and then you ground here. So with this system, both of these are going to be considered hot. This is the ground. So the two black wires from the switch will be so here's the thermostat we're using. Since this is a 240 volt system, 2-pole, we are going to use this switch here. So these two black wires here will connect to these two wires here. These two red wires here will connect to one black, one white. It does not matter which one which, it does not matter. And then these two grounds will be switched here. I will bring you back and show you what it looks like when it's done. So as you can see, red to white, red to black, two blacks are are tied together, and then the grounds. So we're going to put this cover back on, and we will continue to plug that in to that. It should look something like this. And before you ask, yes, I could have used the yellow Romex cable, but this cord here is more pliable than this. I originally was going to use this. I cut it off, but it's just so firm, so like it just doesn't move the way I wanted it to. Like this is more pliable, and I have more. I just think it looks better. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to cut this to length, and we're going to install this plug onto the end of that and plug it in here. Like I said earlier, ideally, I would want to just have a junction box where this plug is, but the customer didn't want the she wanted the option to have it plugged in and plug out in case she wanted to move it, or it'd be easier to plug in. So I would have just had it, this part here, there's grommets like this and the back of here. Ideally, I would have just had this covering this so it hides that. But again, she did not want that. So, you know, again, you do what the client wants, even though it's not what you want sometimes. No matter how much you can talk them into doing something, they want what they want. So I will bring you back once this is cut to length, and then we will wire this plug up. In case you're wondering, they do not sell plates that cover a regular receptacle and this. So Leviton makes these partial plates that you can piece them apart together. So this will just fit right there and looks good as new. Again, I did not install this outlet. I'm working with what I had. I had to fix it, shim it up and stuff. So again, the customer did not want them replaced. So I am just plugging into what I have. So it should look something like this. Then this little groove right there, goes into this groove right there, and then it just gets screwed in from the top. And it looks something like this. No wires exposed, looks good. Right there. Finished product is done. I cleaned it up. I put those little staples in the wire to make it look nice so it doesn't get pulled out. In case you're wondering, yes, it does work. I don't have my heat gun with me, but it's warming up and it works nicely. Again, this is a install for a baseboard heater with thermostat, 240 volt. This is pretty straightforward when it comes to baseboard heaters. You know, they all are similar, but the wiring diagrams may be different. So make sure you read the instructions before you install. As always, make sure you clean up your workspace. It just makes the quality of work just better. So I'm going to go through, pick up a few more things, and this job is done.